Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another morning practice. Thank you so much for unrolling your mat and coming here this morning. So, this week we are focusing on balance. Or my balance shirt. Um, balance is something that is very subjective to every day to each person. It's so different for everybody. Just want to share a little bit about my feelings and thoughts on balance. And we'll do a little morning practice, a little meditation, and a little journaling to start our day off great. But just note as you come to your mat here this morning, just check in with yourself and notice how you're feeling today. I strongly believe that opposites balance. So if you and be honest as you check in with yourself, maybe you're feeling a little sluggish, a little slow, just not, yourself. Maybe you just kind of want to be like, oh, I'm not sure what to do today and whatever. Then come to your mat, come to your practice, and look to do something high energy, quick moving, something that's going to kind of spark a little fire in you and help put you into balance because of that. You can also look to your diet for these things. Your diet could be something with a little bit of ginger or lemon to give you that little bit of a kick. Something spicy can help. Smoothies are excellent for this because it adds that airy quality and kind of mixes things up. And then we put that into our bodies. So, just looking to incorporate that into your morning, into your day, and then again, if it's the opposite, so maybe, and I'm like this right now. My mind is racing a mile a minute. I'm thinking, and I just can't seem to, I just kind of feel like I'm spiraling a little. So then when I come to my mat, I want to look to slow things down a bit. Maybe I hold the poses a little bit longer, or I take a longer shavasana, and then when I'm looking to add this into my diet, I'm looking for something that's going to be a little bit more grounding. A smoothie bowl, maybe where I'm sitting, taking my time, eating it slower. Oatmeal is great, soups and casseroles, things like that, that just help to kind of slow us down a little bit and bring a little bit more grounding quality to our windiness, I guess you can call it, of the overthinking. I always think of the windy storms and things like that. Just something to keep in mind as you move through your practice here today. Go ahead and get your water, your journal, unroll your mat, and we'll get started in a comfortable seated position. Sitting cross-legged. Take some time to rotate your thighs and just feel your sit bones rooting a little bit heavier. Lift the shoulders up, back, and down. Let your palms rest face down on your lap. Close your eyes and turn to your breath. And we'll start with an even breath, breathing in for the count of 5 and out for the count of 5. In for the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep going, counting to yourself as you inhale, as you exhale, letting the breath be both in the nose and out the nose. Notice if your mind starts to wander and come back to counting each step of the way, letting this be nice and balanced, nice and even, matching the inhale to the exhale. It's a great way to come to ground yourself however you might be feeling as you begin your practice here today. And slowly return to a regular breath, breathing in and out. I encourage you to set an intention for your practice here, for your day, around this idea of balance. The first word that comes to mind, let that fill you as you begin. So maybe if you're feeling like you need a little bit more energy, you can just start to repeat the word energy or energetic, or I bring energy wherever I go. If you're feeling like you need a little bit more calm and peace, then adding those words. And slowly open your eyes. Slide your hands onto the ends of your knees and gently start to roll all around. Just starting to wake up the spine here, the hips, making big circles through the crown of the head on the ceiling. And come back to center. Place your left hand down on the mat beside you. Inhale, reach your right hand up and over. Turn the palms to face the other way, and then gently stretch. Reaching as far over to the left as you can, palm facing down. Gently take your right shoulder back and look up to the sky. Open the heart. Ground the right sit bone into the floor a little bit more and really open and lengthen here through the side. Inhale, slowly come back up to center. Cross your legs the other way, so the other leg is in front. Bringing your hands onto your knees and start to make big circles going the opposite direction as before. And if you can't remember which one was opposite, then just go whichever direction doesn't feel natural to you. Because we have a tendency to start with whichever one feels natural. So if you go in the unnatural direction, that's usually the opposite. And then slowly return back to center, placing your right fingertips on the floor beside you. Inhale, reach your left hand over, turn your palm to face that right side of the room, and then fold overhead. Take a moment to recenter yourself here as you stretch the right fingertips over to the side a little bit more. Left fingertips, draw the left shoulder back, look up, and root the left sit bone into the floor. Big breath here. And then slowly rise back up to center. Swing your legs to the side and come up to our tabletop pose. Spreading your fingers as wide apart as you can, pinkies all the way to the edge of the mat, clawing your fingertips in, finding that J shape with the pointer finger and the thumb. Your knees are underneath your hips, and we'll keep our toes curled under here as we begin. Inhale, drop the belly and look up, moving into our cow. And then exhale, round the spine, moving into our cat. Inhale, drop the belly, look up. Exhale, round the spine. Keep going here at your own pace, starting to wake up the spine, send some good movement, good energy to all those little vertebrae, all the way from the sit bones up to the base of the skull. And then on your next breath, return back to your tabletop pose, your flat back, and go for a little free movement, waving all around. Do you need to find some energy here by maybe moving a little quickly, or do you want your energy to slow down, moving so slow? Just check in with yourself. What do you need in this moment? And then slowly come back to center. Wrists are underneath shoulders, knees are underneath hips. Take your right fingertips and reach them forward. Palm is facing to the side, kind of like you're going to shake hands with somebody. And then slide your left foot back. The arm and leg are parallel with the floor. Round your left toes under and press through that heel as if the left heel is trying to touch something behind you. Draw the belly button onto the spine. Find a nice flat back here. Your hips are parallel with the floor. Hold it here. Rooting down through the left hand and the right foot as you can open up here, finding a little bit of balance. Coming to that even breath, holding yourself here. One more breath. And then slowly return the hand and foot back to the mat. Go for that free movement. And come back to center. Second side, reaching your left hand in front, palm facing to the side. Slide your right foot back, wrap those right toes under and stretch, seeing if you can almost touch something invisible in front and behind you. Draw the belly button onto the spine and let your pelvis be parallel to the floor, nice and even, keeping everything flat here. Getting a little bit of heat created into the low belly as you draw the belly button onto the spine. And holding here. So getting the benefits of both here. The heat in the belly is creating a digestive fire that's going to spark some energy, but holding the pose is keeping that calming, grounding energy, getting a little balance here in both. Exhale, slowly bring your hand and knee back down. Go for that free movement. Coming back to center. Back to the first side, reaching your right fingertips forward and then left leg straight back. Find the balance here. Reach, reach, reach. Stay here for your 5 breaths, or if you want to add a little bit more, bend your left knee, kicking the heel towards your bottom, and reach back, see if you can find that foot. Come back to balancing your pelvis, look straight down at your mat, and hold that foot with your hand. Stay here for a couple more breaths. And then slowly let go, returning the hand and foot back to the mat. Go for that free movement. Coming back to center. Second side, reaching your left hand forward, right leg straight back. Find your balance here. And if you did it on the other side, join me here at kicking the right heel towards your bottom, reaching the left hand back. Each side of the body is going to be a little bit different, so do what feels good for you here. And when you get to where you are, hug that belly button onto the spine. Keep breathing. One more breath. And then slowly return, hand, knee back down. Go for that free movement. Coming back to center. Slowly walk the hips back. Have a seat on your heels. Uncurl all the toes. Make sure even that little baby toe is uncurled. This will get a nice stretch through the bottoms of the feet, which help hold us up and keep us balanced all day. Taking your right hand and reaching it out in front, use your left hand to gently draw the fingertips back and press the heel of the hand away, getting a nice wrist stretch here. Continue to breathe as you press the heel of that hand a little bit further. And then slowly let go, turning the hand over, pressing now kind of like Spider-Man slinging his web. Gently draw those fingertips back and press the heel of that hand away. Opening up now, getting a beautiful stretch through the hands, forearms, wrists. Slowly come back to center, shake it out, and change sides, reaching your left hand out in front, using your right fingertips to pull them back. Press the heel of the hand away, stretch, forearms, wrists, hands, palm of the hand, getting a nice open in there. And then turning the hand over, gently draw those fingers back underneath. A little bit of a different stretch here. This one is so good for so many reasons. Just everything we do in life tends to close our hands up. Yoga is a great way of opening up the fascia, but also just helping to prevent anything from getting all tight and stiff and contracted. And slowly let go and shake it out. Gently walk your hands to the front of your mat. Keep your fingers spread nice and wide apart. Set your foundation, find the little J in the pointer and the thumbs, and then slide your feet nice and long behind you. Press the heels away. Start to lift the hips up, coming into our first downward facing dog. Let go a big exhale as you claw the mat a little bit more. Send the energy up to the hips and then down the heels. Start to bend the knees, maybe pedaling out your downward facing dog or holding it in stillness if that's what you need here this morning. Honoring your practice, your body, your mind. And then very slowly start to walk the feet towards the front of your mat. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, slide your hands to heart center. We're going to get started with a little flow here, or get started, sorry. We're going to continue with a little flow here. I'm going to go nice and slow through it. So if you want to stop and hold the poses a little bit longer, you can. So sliding your hands down to your sides, palms facing the front, take a peek at your feet and just make sure that they're parallel with each other. Lift and separate all 10 toes and then roll to the outer part of the feet and then roll to the inner part. Back to the outer part, back to the inner part, and then come back to center. Gently drop all 10 toes back onto the mat. Find your Tadasana mountain pose here, and then inhale, reach and stretch your fingertips up towards the sky. Touch your hands together overhead. Exhale, dive forward. Let your hands lead the way. Bend the knees. Drop the crown of the head towards the floor. Inhale, walk your hands either to your shins or your thighs and find a nice flat back. Exhale, place your hands onto the mat, step your right foot to the back, and then your left. Slowly lower down, dropping onto knees, thighs, chest, tops of feet. Inhale for a little look up, just lift your chest. And then exhale, curl your toes under, rise up, downward facing dog. Claw the fingers in, send the energy up into the hips. Exhale, step your left foot to the front. And then your right. Fold and rise. Exhale, hands to heart center. Slide your hands into your Tadasana mountain pose. We'll go through that flow one more time. Roll to the outer edges of the feet, back to the inner, and then back into center. Inhale, reach and rise. Touch your fingertips together. And exhale, dive forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Lengthen from the tip of your head to the tip of your tail. Exhale, place your hands on the mat. Step your left foot to the back and then your right. Slowly lower down. You can drop down knees, thighs, chest, tops of feet, or lower, slow, 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 hugging your elbows in. Inhale for a little baby look up. Lift the heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. Claw the fingertips into the earth from the back of the heart. Send the energy into the hands. Take your gaze to the front. Step your right foot behind your right wrist. Left foot behind your left wrist. And fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands to heart. Take a peek at your feet and take them as wide as your mat apart. Bringing one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. Go for a tiny little bend in the knees. And then imagine as if there's a bar or something here right in front of you at your waist. And slowly start to lean forward, hinging at the hips, as if you're lengthening your spine to get beyond this imaginary bar. Keep this lengthening in the spine as you press your hands into your body to support yourself a little bit more. Keep leaning so, so slow. We're coming into a forward fold here. Eventually, you'll get to a point where you want to let your hands fall down to the floor. Go for it. And then eventually start to give away the hold here. Let the crown of the head fall heavy towards the mat or the ground. Keep a little bend in the knees and start to feel a lengthening here, hamstrings, inner thighs, even the low back. And breathe. You can keep your fingertips on the floor here to support you, or if you're looking to add a little bit of movement, grasping opposite elbows and gently start to sway side to side. Forward folds have tremendous benefits. So we're going to stay here and hold them a little bit longer. A forward fold can be incredibly balancing by regulating our body temperature. It's a very cooling pose if we're feeling a little overheated. It can help to improve our circulation. So if we're feeling like we're a little stagnant or need a little boost of energy, forward fold can actually help accomplish that. But because we are bending forward, touching the earth, we're also calming the central nervous system. Forward fold can also help to calm us if we're feeling a little anxious or if our mind is running away from us. Stay here for one more big breath in, big breath out. And then slowly start to walk both hands over to the right foot, holding on to your right ankle. Fold a little deeper here by drawing your nose towards your right knee. And then inhale, slowly walk the hands back to center. Exhale, walk them to the left, holding on to the left ankle, and fold. Draw that nose towards your left knee. Inhale back to center. Walk the hands a little bit further forward than you normally would have them. And then very gently start to rise, bringing one hand to heart, one hand to belly. Imagine as if you're using that core strength to rise up over top of that imaginary bar or whatever was imaginary there in front of you. Bringing your hands to heart center, angle the feet so that the toes point out a little bit further than the heels, and very slowly sink your hips towards the floor, going straight down. So a couple of things here. You can let your elbows rest on top of your knees, coming into a low squat, or maybe heel toe in just a wee bit more here. Slide your elbows to the inside of your knees and sink your hips all the way to the floor, coming into a yogi squat. Or come all the way down to have a seat on your mat, which is where we will all end up in a moment. This should feel like a stretch wherever you are. And slowly support yourself. Have a seat on your mat. Slide the soles of your feet together. Inch them as close to the body as it feels good. Let your hands rest on your feet. Straighten your arms, straighten your spine. Take a big breath in. And as you exhale, lean forward. See if you can just peek beyond the end of your toes. Inhale, look up. Exhale, lean forward. Inhale, look up. Exhale, lean forward. Stay here for 3 more breaths. If you want to continue with the movement, go for it. If you're looking for something a little bit more grounding, then hold the stretch as you breathe. And slowly come back to center, rising up, closing the knees together, swinging your feet around, and getting ready to lay down on your mat. So a couple of things here. You may want to have some blocks close by when we get ready for our Shavasana on our mat. Blocks make a really good to put your legs up on if you don't have a bolster or anything like that. The other thing is I've got a blanket here right next to the wall. So legs up the wall is another very good option for us to come into, and also has amazing balancing properties to the body. So get ready to lay down, have what you need close by, but first we're just going to do a little bit more. So slowly roll the body down if you aren't already there. Let the shoulders and the back of the head rest heavy. Keep your knees bent. Make like a diamond shape with your hands and place it underneath your tailbone. Let's give you a little bit of a pelvic tilt here, pressing the entire spine flat into the earth. Walk your knees and ankles to touch, and then send your feet up towards the sky. Flex the toes back. Having the hands underneath the tailbone so gives you that pelvic tilt, which actually is the act of drawing the belly button onto the spine. But I still want you to envision that. So hug that belly button onto the spine, and then let go a big exhale and drop your feet slowly towards the floor. Let them hover. And then as you inhale, lift them up towards the sky, almost as if your breath is causing the legs to move. Exhale, let them fall. Inhale, let them rise. Keep going, following your breath. If your mind wanders, come back to this idea of inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. Do a couple more here. You got this. This is such another way to balance us. So we are laying on the floor, which is so calming and grounding, but we're activating the core and sparking a digestive fire here in our low belly, which is creating a little bit of heat and energy. And the next time your feet are up, keep them up. Remove your hands from underneath your tailbone. Bend your knees, dropping the soles of the feet as wide as your mat apart. Slide your arms nice and wide out to your sides, and then drop both knees over to the left. Take your gaze over to the right. And we'll stay here for at least 5 breaths, letting ourselves get heavy and rooted into the floor. Feeling the balance from working hard and sinking and settling in, getting that grounded feeling here. And then slowly come back to center and drop your knees in the opposite direction. Take your gaze in the opposite direction and count your 5 breaths. Being sure to send the breath all the way to the low belly. And then slowly come back to center. Once you've completed your 5 breaths, hug your knees in, give yourself a little squeeze. Stay here in the stillness or go for a little rock side to side. And then when you're ready, take your Shavasana, your final resting pose. You can, like we were talking before, slide the blocks underneath your calves to create that little bit of a legs up the wall feeling if you aren't anywhere near a wall. And if you're going to do legs up the wall, which, like I said, has so many great balancing properties, maybe just folding up a blanket and placing it in front of the wall. I'll show you, we'll go into this for our Monday night practice. But the best way to go for legs up the wall is to sit your hips onto the blanket. And then I like to imagine I have a mermaid's tail and my legs are stuck together. And then gently swing your mermaid's tail up onto the wall and come into legs up the wall. So wherever you come into your final resting pose, close your eyes. Come back to that even breath, in for 5, out for 5, in for 5, out for 5. Let your mantra or your intention fill your mind. Take this opportunity to come back to it and just let it be here with you. Just notice what you notice. Slowly bring your awareness back into your body. Maybe start to wiggle fingers and toes. And whenever you're ready, stretch and gently roll onto one side. Taking as much time as you need to rise to a seat. Joining me with hands at heart center, I'd like to leave you with a quote. Balance is the key to everything. What we do, say, think, eat, feel, they all require awareness. And through this awareness, we grow stronger in our balance. Thank you for being here this morning. Have a beautiful day. Namaste. Now I encourage you to pick up your journal and write down the 3 things that you're grateful for, the 3 things that, if they were to happen today, would make today an amazing day. And then write down a little bit of what you can do today to keep your balance, find your balance, or grow stronger in your balance. And I'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.